Okay, so I got some gaming news, all right? So earlier today, Microsoft issued a statement about Xbox Live and Gold members. And they announced a price hike, all right? Now, Microsoft is still in the dark when it comes to uh, still be, still having the capabilities of playing free games without purchasing Xbox Live. Now, amazingly, Nintendo, you don't have to have a membership to play free games. Free games such as Fortnite, Destiny. There's a lot of games that are considered free games that you can just simply just play without a membership. Sony has the same credentials. All right, you don't have to have PSN to play free games. Okay, not Microsoft, not over there at Microsoft. Microsoft has been in the dark ages, so to say, about allowing Xbox members who do not have Xbox Live to play free games. So Microsoft was still in the dark about that, and you had to have an Xbox Live subscription. And if you've been buying the Xbox Live 12-month subscriptions, uh, you could just play. I mean, just buy that instead of their new subscription thing, which is Xbox Game Pass is sort of tied and linked to it, and I believe it was like $11 or $12 a month. And as long as you was a member of Xbox Game Pass, you still get the same benefits as someone who just bought a 12-month subscription of Xbox Live. The only difference is you'll be able to play a lot of games that are under the Xbox Game Pass umbrella. The majority of these games are old. A lot of these games are from other generations. Now, a time or two, there are games that are new that come to the service that you can say in certain months that's very beneficial to have this game under the umbrella of Xbox Game Pass. All right. So they issued a statement talking about a price hike, and it was up to $100 a year. All right. So instead of just buying Xbox Live and playing and just paying $59.99, now they gonna get rid of that, and you have to get their new Xbox Game Pass thing. And if you want to buy a year of it, it's gonna be over $100. So Microsoft and Phil Spencer got ran through the coals on social media. A lot of die-hard people who champion the Xbox brand did not like the recent news. Now, there was a few here and there that were co-signing this, trying to make it seem like it's no big deal, when in actuality it is a big deal. All right. And after a few hours of getting torched on social media, Microsoft and Phil Spencer issued a statement in the middle of the night, okay? Sort of like those moving trucks that moved the Indianapolis Colts to Baltimore, that type of move. They basically released a statement saying we're learning from the errors of our ways. It seems like everyone's not happy or not on board with this new policy. And you know what? We're just going to keep things like they are. You can still get Xbox Live if you don't want to do Xbox Game Pass. And guess what? A bonus from this statement: you don't even have to have Xbox Live or Xbox Game Pass to play free games. So finally, the heavens split open over there at Phil Spencer and Microsoft. They learning from their errors of their ways, so to say. And now they're going to allow people, you don't even have to have a subscription to get to play free games on Xbox. All right? Xbox. All right? So that came out, as well as They done reverse their price structure. You can either get Game Pass or Game Pass Ultimate, or you can just continue to just buy Xbox Gold. Now, when this rumor came out a couple of months ago, there was a lot of diehard Xbox fans, a lot of journalists were saying the following, a lot of content providers of YouTube who make YouTube channels just only Xbox and Xbox content and news. All of them come out of the woodwork a couple of, I say about 6-7 months ago when this came out, and was initially a rumor of a possibility of Microsoft changing the structure of Xbox Game Pass and getting rid of Xbox Live. A lot of people were going to, they was going to the point of, well, you know what, they're probably going to make Xbox Live free, giving you, you can still play games online. You don't necessarily have to have Xbox Game Pass. And Xbox Game Pass is so successful, they really don't need the Xbox Gold, all right? So you're just going to, basically in their minds, they feel like Microsoft was going to give you multiple ways of experiencing playing games on Xbox. Either Game Pass, just getting rid of Xbox Live, and allowing people to, if you don't want Xbox Live or Xbox Game Pass, you can still play free games on their service, all right? And a lot of people were going to that conclusion. And like 7 hours ago, they talked about how they're just going to strip they're going to strip everything down, make everything Xbox Game Pass. They're going to force feed you. They're going to force Game Pass down your throat. And if you want to continue to enjoy playing video games or utilizing the service, you're going to have to commit to Xbox Game Pass. Meanwhile, over there at PC, they get to play Xbox games on other services. They don't necessarily need Xbox Game Pass, and they have always, utilized the service of Xbox Live and didn't have to pay for it. All right? So that was weird. I mean, on the consoles, the tablets, and the smartphones, you have to have Xbox Game Pass in order to play these games. Some of these franchise games that are quote unquote exclusive, even though exclusive is not a word you want to use when describing Microsoft. But if you want to play those caliber type of games that are homegrown games from Microsoft, you will have to commit to Xbox Game Pass if you was using consoles, smartphones, and tablets. However, if you got a PC, you can still indulge and go to other services and play these games. All right. Meanwhile, the games that are announced on Xbox Game Pass, if you just want to let's just say you want to play, I forgot that pirate game. Let's just say you want to play Gears 5. If you go to Best Buy or Walmart or GameStop, or if you just go to the store itself, the Microsoft Store, that game is still almost full price. So they're kind of telling you, like, look, if you want to play Gears 5, and if you want to play it in a cheaper way, may not be the best way, but a cheaper way, you will have to commit to Xbox Game Pass, okay? A lot of people don't talk about that. A lot of these games, like of Forza Motorsports, if you just want to just buy the game, instead of, maybe you're a fan of the game, but you're not a fan of Game Pass, that game is almost still full price, folks. It's not on the greatest hits. It's not on Xbox Live Gold, where you get 2 free games a month. You can still buy these games. It's just these games are not $20. Now, some of these games are like 2, 3, 4 years old, and they're still almost full price. Okay, the Gears DLC. If you just want to just buy that DLC instead of just going through GameStop, it's damn near $20. I believe it's $20. Okay, even though I'm a fan of Gears, but I haven't been keeping up with Gears for the past couple of years because it's just not the same gears anymore, folks. All right. So, but that's another time for another day. Okay. That's another story for another day. Okay. Let's just stick to the Game Pass. All right. So, Phil and Microsoft is forcing you, you're going to have to take Game Pass, like it or not. And isn't that the same type of cavalier thought process the Microsoft had with Kinect? You know, you have to buy Kinect if you wanted Xbox One X. Okay. You had to get the Xbox One X. No, it was Xbox One. If you wanted Xbox One, the OG Xbox One, you had to commit and buy the Kinect. It added no value. It just added in price, and it made that console $100 more than the PlayStation 4. And they wondering and scratching their heads, well, why did the PlayStation 4 get off with that huge start? Because initially it was $100 cheaper than the Xbox One when it was bundled with Kinect. It would have been different if Kinect was free and if both consoles were the same price. I still think, they would have probably won a few months. But at the end of the day, when the rest of the gaming lineup catalogs, when it comes to games, when you compare exclusive games from PlayStation to at that point in time the exclusive games for Xbox, there's no competition. The PlayStation games are much better. And the Xbox One would have won a couple of months, maybe not to start the opening month, but bundling Connect Free would have been an added feature that you can advertise to get people in line as far as them pre-ordering the Xbox One. But no, it was $100 more, and they force Connect down your throat. Okay, and then before that generation even started, Microsoft was talking about these new policies and procedures, DRM, no more rented games, no more borrowed games. They just stuck their foot in their mouth each and every time after that Xbox reveal. Now, yes, they have changed that policy, but still, just because you change something, it doesn't neglect the fact or eliminate the fact that your intentions were that you was going to put all these restrictions on your customers who did not want it. And the customers voted with their wallet. We did not buy an Xbox One. Therefore, they had to reverse what they was planning on doing in the first place. All right. Now, fast forward to today. What you learned from today. And if you are clueless or if you are a diehard Xbox fan, it probably went over your head. But what proved today was what I've been saying all along about Game Pass. It's not a big, successful thing for Microsoft, okay? It's a cash, it's where money goes, but you make no investment off that money, okay? Microsoft, look at what Microsoft has just done, all right? First of all, they created Xbox Game Pass, all right? And then they said, you know what? Let's do Play Anywhere. You know, we're out of the exclusive gaming business. Now we're going to make our games accessible to anybody. And if Nintendo and Sony wants our app in their service, fine. We'll have our Xbox games playing on Nintendo consoles as well as Sony consoles. All right. That has not transpired yet. All right. And I don't think it ever will transpire because ever since they launched Xbox Game Pass and ever since they've been buying up studios like Bethesda, all these studios, and all this content is, and all these studios are going to make content for Xbox Game Pass. Look what has been happening recently. All right. Game Pass, there was some months and some years where you could have gotten Game Pass for $1. All right. You think Microsoft is making a quick buck, a quick turnaround off of selling Game Pass for $1? All right. So if you look at what transpired today and what have been transpiring up to the point of today, well, yesterday, is Game Pass is a flop. It's a failure. Okay? Game Pass is like that song that's borderline flop and hit. And the reason why that song is popular now probably is because of one of the following. They just went back in the studio and remixed the song. They went back in the studio and then they added appearances from from some other hot star, and they make that song chart higher and higher and higher. That's what's going on with Game Pass. Game Pass, they have bundled Game Pass so many different ways. They have bought up studios left to right. Bethesda, remember how people say, oh, that's just chop money. I mean, Microsoft will make that money back, but they haven't made that money back. Okay? I don't care if you make $1 billion, $1 trillion, a quadruple trillion, or a quadruple billion. All right? No matter how much money you got in the bank, if you put most of your money into an investment, you want your investment to be profitable. You want your investment to be in the pluses, not the minuses. Because when it's in the minuses a lot, you're going to have to add money to that investment to grow. It's sort of like planting a plant in the backyard. I mean, if you just stick a plant in the backyard and you don't give it sunlight, you don't give it water, you don't give it the proper nutrition, that plant's going to die. All right? And then you spend more money on a plant that's borderline dying than you would if it was a healthy plant, it was the right plant, and if you just give it water and sunlight, you spend less time and less money. That's what Game Pass is. It's a cash dump. It's a place where you just dump money in it and you don't get no investment for it. Okay? People don't read the tea leaves. Okay? You done had months on top of months of Game Pass being ultra cheap. You have months on top of months of Microsoft buying studios that's going to make games exclusively for Game Pass. They're going to be introduced on Game Pass and everywhere else. All right, and you got all these, like the Cyberpunk exclusive. It wasn't an exclusive deal, but it was just a deal where they get the advertisement from Cyberpunk. And we all know about the nightmare of Cyberpunk and how that didn't necessarily bolster the Xbox brand. All right? Then they sell Mixer. Just because you got a gazillion dollars, people think that you shouldn't experience loss. But look at all the stuff, all the acquisitions Microsoft have purchased. They expect... when you buy an investment, you expect to see some type of profit. Mixer, they wasn't seeing no type of profit. And now that's gone. All right? And to make matters even worse, they fork over Ninja all that money only for Ninja to go back to Twitch. All right? It doesn't matter how much money you dump into something. If the product's not good, it's simply not good. And it simply does not make you money. And it simply does not make you popular. And I think Microsoft has gone down in the dumps for their recent decisions. And this latest decision, even though in the beginning, it kind of, no, it's not kind of. This latest decision left, if you're a hardcore Xbox fan, you're scratching your head going like, okay, y'all giving me a price hike, but there's no content in line with that price hike. There's no other added or special features in line with this price hike. So basically, you're just doing a price hike and I'm still keeping everything as it was last week and the week before. Nothing has changed other than the price hike. Now I'm going to be paying more money, right? Okay? So, Microsoft just like any other business, like any other corporation, when you start adding investments to your catalog and those investments are not paying off and now they're losses, then you're going to somebody is going to have to help with the debt. And a company's not going to just keep dumping money into something hoping for it to grow, hoping for it to blossom, and continue to dump into it until they come to their senses and go, you know what? Why we're taking this loss? Why we keep dumping into it? Let the consumers dump into it. And that's what they're doing. Xbox Game Pass is a disaster at this point. There's nothing successful about Game Pass. The first thing people say when they talk about Game Pass is how you can start playing older games from other generations from Microsoft. When you can start playing older games from the original Xbox, from the Xbox 360, from the Xbox One, from the Xbox One X, all the way up to the Xbox Series X and S, okay? That's what people always gravitate to. Well, look at that large catalog of Microsoft at your disposal by just signing up the Game Pass. You can play those games anytime you want to, all right? And I always made this statement to a lot of people. Game Pass, I mean, when you talk about older games, yeah, I think there's a market, a niche market that loves playing retro games, that loves playing older games, but that's not a very concrete, supportive audience that's also going to buy all the accessories and buy the DLC, because if you have already played that game before, you're not going to invest a whole lot of time into that game like you would a Fortnite, like you would in NBA 2K, like you would with Battlefield or Call of Duty, okay? Notice how I'm mentioning games that are the top playable games, that people go every day to play these games, spend money every day to play these games, all right? And I haven't mentioned Xbox Game Pass. Xbox Game Pass, like, I don't know how many games they have at their disposal. Let's just say 1,000 games. They got 1,000 games, and if you go and check out every last one of those games, nobody's not playing those games. Nobody's not playing those games consistently. There's not a large audience to play those games when you compare it to the games I just mentioned. There are more people, like, they say this year is a down year for the Call of Duty Cold War. And yet, that game is top 10 when it comes to sales. That game is in the top 10 when it comes to people actually playing the game. People are still buying coins, Call of Duty coins, to get the skins and all that stuff. But it's a down year for Call of Duty. But there's more people playing Call of Duty than any game that's coming out of Game Pass. Even newer games that come out of Game Pass. Newer games. Crackdown, is people still playing Crackdown? Crackdown died when it came out. That's on Game Pass. Why nobody's not playing that? Why is nobody playing Gears? Why Gears don't never make the top 10 when it comes to actual people playing it day in and day out? Or Halo. These are games that, you dabble into them, but then you move on to something else. And then eventually, if you're selling a console, you want a console to have what at its disposal? Next-gen games that people want to play. Not just any old games. Next-gen games. And Microsoft do not have those games. They have bought up studios. And, remember how everyone was talking about the Bethesda deal, how that's going to be exclusively for Xbox Game Pass? Well, if you've been paying attention to the tea leaves that's been dropped in front of you, And with this recent news of them with the price hike for Xbox Live, only to turn around after them being torched on social media, saying that, you know what, we're just going to keep things as it is. Okay? If you've been paying attention to that, you notice there's a trend there, right? You notice that it just goes to show you that Xbox Game Pass is not as big or as hot or as successful as they're claiming it to be. It's on life support right now. Xbox Game Pass is on life support. And these Bethesda games that were supposed to be only exclusive to Xbox Game Pass, now you're starting to hear about these games also being introduced for other consoles and other services. Because Microsoft cannot afford to leave out a consumer base. Okay? They simply just can't. They can't at all. And that's the downside of Xbox Game Pass. Xbox Game Pass isn't this revolutionary thing where Phil Spencer said when he first introduced it many moons ago that he wants to tap into the billion gamers. He wants to tap into all gamers. Well, as of right now, he's tapped into the smartphone gamers. Let's talk about the smartphone gamers, shall we? Smartphone gamers don't consistently play the same game over and over and over, putting their money in over and over. They generally move from one smartphone game to another smartphone game. These games are not considered stable games, okay? These games don't have a season 1, season 2, or season 3, okay? They're here today, they're gone tomorrow. You want to tap into that consumer base? Okay, Phil, go right ahead. Let's talk about PC. PC have been playing Xbox Game Pass for years, okay? Now you're giving them Xbox Game Pass when the majority of PC gamers, they already have these games. So what's the point of them buying Xbox Game Pass when A, they can play Xbox Live for free, and B, all your best games, they already have them. So there's no interest for them to go into Game Pass. It's a secondary option, not their primary option. Let's talk about, let's go to your to your console. How is Xbox Game Pass successful just being on the Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One X? Let's read the tea leaves. Ooh, excuse me. Let's go into the tea leaves. People are still, when you talk about that console, excuse me, guys. Let's talk about the console itself. People are still playing Fortnite, playing Call of Duty, playing 2K on Xbox consoles more than Game Pass. Oh, I am sorry. More than Game Pass. Game Pass is not even keeping people on Game Pass. There are people that bought an Xbox Series X, an Xbox S, and the first game they started playing was not a game from Game Pass, but from Call of Duty, Fortnite, 2K. You're not gravitating none of those people to also play Game Pass. They're playing those games a lot longer, spending money on those games a lot more than Game Pass. And that's what they want Game Pass to be. Phil Spencer wants Game Pass to be like a Netflix, a Hulu type of subscription service where all the content is going to go through Game Pass first. And if you want to play these games, you have to buy into their service. Well, your top selling games are not on Game Pass. The games that have longevity are not on Game Pass. Now, yes, they got Destiny 2 on Game Pass, which they deserve a clap for it. They deserve kudos for that. Kudos for that. But not a lot of people are playing Destiny. I'm a huge Destiny fan. And this season is not that good. They're talking about bringing back stuff for next season, like the Umbral Engrams. Oh, yeah, that's what people really dying to want to play. Not new content. No, we don't want new content. We just want old content. We just want to play the older content. All right? They did the Hawk Moon quest. I haven't even done it yet. I mean, I got the Hawk Moon, but I'm not going to go back in there for different roles and all that stuff. Only for that gun to be obsolete, or they're gonna take a perk from that gun, and you're gonna do all that grinding for an exotic gun that probably in the next 6 to 7 months people are gonna complain about it, and then they say, you know what, let's take the perk off that gun. Or let's just get all that. We'll put this gun on timeout, and then we'll figure out how to fix the problem when it's not a problem. People are not even playing Crucibles. So yeah, they deserve kudos for getting Destiny 2 on Xbox Game Pass, but that's not a huge successful story if they can get games from Activision on Game Pass. If they can get now they got EA, but yes, I don't know how they're gonna do Battlefield. If the new Battlefield comes out, is it gonna be exclusively for Game Pass subscribers, or is this going to be put out everywhere? Because people are going to say, you know what, I'd rather just buy the game and bypass Game Pass. It's going to be on EA Play. How much of that money is going to be to Game Pass? Okay, so, and is it going to be a good game? Because the last Battlefield game wasn't a good game, right? Everybody stepped away from Battlefield. Everybody was talking about, Call of Duty. They went right back to Call of Duty. When Battlefield had an opportunity to take the majority of the Call of Duty fan base along with them for the ride, they effed it up. So, yeah, I see some games like years ago we called system sellers are on Game Pass, but none of those games are competing against a Fortnite or 2K or Call of Duty. You understand what I'm saying? They don't even compete with those games. And they don't even compete with exclusive games that are coming from the Sony and Nintendo. So the Smash Brothers game, people are still playing Smash Brothers. People are still playing The Last of Us 2. People are still playing Spider-Man, the latest Spider-Man. You're not moving the needle to even those communities to say, you know what, I'm gonna sell my PlayStation and invest in an Xbox Series X or S. Which, by the way, let's talk about the console itself. Why would you spend X amount of dollars for an X or an S when you can still play these games on a PC? It's Xbox Game Pass. Everything that's been around Xbox Game Pass, it's been devalued. There's no reason for you to buy an Xbox, the latest Xbox controller, because the older Xbox controllers can work as well as the newer Xbox controllers. And there's nothing different between either or. There's no real reason to get a console, an Xbox Series S or X, when you can play it on your tablet, smartphone, your PC, and plus it's free. Xbox Live is free on PC. There's no benefit for you to even buy a console. It even devalues the consoles. And then it devalues the games. It devalues the games. All the games that are now on Xbox Game Pass are devalued. There's no large community that's still playing these games months, weeks, years after these games have been released. These games don't even go into seasons. They're here today, they die tomorrow. So ultimately, what are we okay, what is the point? Ever since Xbox Game Pass was introduced, it has been a commercial flop. Notice how they don't even bring out stats or statistics of how much money they done made, how much of a profit margin Xbox Game Pass has made. They used to talk about their user base. We got so many we got so many people that's playing games on Xbox Game Pass. They're doing X amount of time here and X amount of time there. They don't even talk about that. They just talk about the accounts that are linked to Xbox Game Pass. Okay, but they don't go into detail and tell you, of those accounts that are linked to Xbox Game Pass, how many of those accounts are actually active and they're actually playing games on Xbox Game Pass. Are they playing games on Xbox Game Pass more than other games? Because they're not. Because if they were, they would be talking about it, right? Okay, so Xbox Game Pass, it's a flop. There's no if, ands, buts, maybes, who knows. It's a flop. And with this latest news, it's even more concrete that I don't think Xbox Game Pass is going to make it past the first game that comes, the first good game that Bethesda is going to make. And they got to make their money back too on that acquisition, as far as all the other acquisitions in the studios that they've been purchasing. Okay, yeah, you are acquiring talent, but is it the top tier talent? No. It's like saying, well, when Miami got their big three with LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade, that's like saying, okay, they got three of the best top five players in the NBA. Let's just go for the top 20 players of the NBA and form our own big three from the top 20. There's a reason why they're the top 20 and they're the top 5. And that's what Game Pass is. But I'm up out of here. I'll holler at y'all later, deuces. This has been a long video.